Hello! Welcome to this week's Private Funds Update. I'm Sandra from SmartEsq, and today is Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Let's dive into today's key private funds updates. We begin in the secondaries market. Continuation vehicles are no longer a niche liquidity tool. Jefferies puts them at 14% of all sponsor-backed exits globally in 2025. But as the volume has exploded, LP frustration has mounted over compressed timelines and perceived misalignment. In response, the Institutional Limited Partners Association, ILPA, has just released its June 2026 continuation vehicle guidance. For GPs, the overarching message is clear. A CV must be a deliberate choice to maximize value, not a default solution to extend a fund's life or simply crystallize carry. Here are the operational takeaways you need to know from the draft. First, ILPA is drawing a hard line on timing. GPs are now expected to provide LPs with a minimum of 30 business days to make a sell or roll election, complete with full, unrestricted access to the data room. Second, ILPA is targeting governance. The guidance stresses that GPs should not rely on pre-cleared conflict waivers buried in existing LPAs. Every CV conflict must be brought to the LPAC early, and LPACs should be permitted to meet in camera without the GP present to discuss. Finally, economics. ILPA expects rolling LPs to bear no overall increase in management fees or carried interest. Furthermore, to prove skin in the game, GPs are expected to roll 100% of accrued carried interest into the new vehicle. Moving to market structure, the SEC has laid out a pathway for private funds to access central Treasury clearing. On June 18th, the Commission granted conditional exemptive relief, fixing a real problem with its Treasury clearing mandate. Many macro and relative value hedge funds clear Treasury repos through a captive clearing subsidiary, such as an in-house broker-dealer or a futures commission merchant, FCM. But the existing inter-affiliate exclusion only applied if that affiliate was itself a bank, broker-dealer, or FCM, leaving private funds boxed out, facing higher costs to keep using this structure once the mandate takes effect. In the SEC release, the SEC permitted repo transactions between a private fund and its wholly owned captive clearing subsidiary be excluded from the definition of an eligible secondary market transaction, provided the subsidiary continues to centrally clear all transactions with outside counterparties. With this new exemptive relief, funds get a cost-effective, SEC-approved pathway to keep using captive clearing structures as the mandate ramps up. In litigation news, plan fiduciaries and investment managers acting as ERISA fiduciaries can breathe a little easier. The Third Circuit has handed down a definitive ruling in a case involving Quest Diagnostics, reinforcing a golden rule of ERISA litigation. The law demands prudence, not perfection. Plaintiffs had argued that the plan fiduciaries breached their duties by keeping allegedly underperforming funds on the menu. But the court sided with the fiduciaries, pointing to their rigorous, documented process for monitoring those investments. The takeaway for fund sponsors and plan administrators? Courts will not use hindsight to penalize investment outcomes, provided your underlying selection and monitoring process is documented, objective, and structurally sound. That concludes this week's briefing. For a deeper analysis on how these changes affect your compliance programs and deal structuring, please review our newsletter and visit www.smartesc.ai.